Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. So we do have a very interesting video. We are going to be discussing what Ansu Fati and Gavi did in this final against Croatia. It was a very interesting game. I think that it did tell us a lot on the future of Ansu and also for Gavi, especially because we know that Gavi will be staying at Barcelona for sure. But I think that with this win coming from Spain and knowing that Ansu Fati and Gavi just won a title is a huge confidence boost. So it's very exciting. And later in the video, we're also going to be talking about Pep Guardiola backing Xavi Hernandez and his time at Barcelona. I cannot wait to talk about this with you guys. I'm going to be leaving the timestamps down below, so if you guys do want to skip to certain parts, you guys can so again on the timeline down below. I hope you guys do enjoy this video. Welcome to this Barcelona family that we are building. If you guys are new here, welcome to the channel. If you guys also want to support this YouTube channel, you guys can so by liking this video and subscribing to the channel. I would really appreciate it. So let's talk about this final first. So Spain did beat Croatia 5-4 in penalties. Ansu Fati came in later in the game. Gavi played a total of 87 minutes, almost 90 minutes. And I believe that if Pedri was there, we probably would have seen a midfield of Rodri, Pedri, and Gavi, a midfield that I would personally love to see at Barcelona. But because Pedri wasn't there, because we know that he's injured, Spain built a 4-2-3-1 formation with Gavi as a central attacking midfielder. But going back to Ansu Fati, right? Ansu Fati had a solid game. I think that it was a very important game for him, and this was the time for him to step up because we wanted to see, has Ansu Fati changed? The Ansu Fati that we saw 2 or 3 months ago was not the same Ansu Fati that we saw 2 years ago. And the fact that he had a solid game in the Nations League is a huge boost for the player himself. And he's really starting to look very sharp. Like we saw him see a couple of chances where he could have scored. There was a moment in the extra time where it was still 0-0. Ansu Fati almost made it 1-0. And I'm like, that was supposed to be the moment, but it was unlucky for him and very unfortunate for us. So immediately right after the game, when Spain were claimed as the title winners, Ansu Fati did say this: "My intention is to continue at Barcelona. I have a contract and I'm very happy. I want to continue growing only at this club," which is again Football Club Barcelona. We also do have a report coming from Sport where they have stated that Ansu Fati has been very clear. He doesn't want to give up his dream of succeeding at Barcelona, which is the club of his life. He's taken advantage of the Nations League fixtures to prove he deserves more minutes at the highest level of football. Now, at the moment, within the squad that Xavi does have, Ansu Fati does seem like the most ideal to be starting in the left wing position. Yes, we could also say that Gavi should be starting on the left wing if Barcelona do not sign a real enforcement for the left wing position, but we'll talk about Gavi in just a few seconds because I just don't think that he should be in that position with Barcelona next season. So at the moment, Ansu Fati does seem like the most ideal if he continues to go on this form and continues to improve. And if Barcelona do not sign a reinforcement, like for example, like I'm talking about a big reinforcement, like if Barcelona don't sign a Kylian Mbappe or a Leao or a Phil Foden, right? Again, these are just examples. Then Ansu Fati will be starting for sure. And I have also explained that the options that Barcelona will be having on the left wing will be Ansu and Abde. Two very bright players. They're not fully established yet. They have a lot of room to grow, but these are two players that can give a lot. And I think that if Ansu Fati continues to go down in this route in terms of improvement and sharpness, plus you add the pressure of Abde wanting to get more minutes on the left wing, then you can really get something special. And I'm dying to see Ansu Fati come up from this horrible situation, like where he was 2 months ago, because this is what's going to separate good players from great players. And I want Ansu Fati to be in the great player category. I'm always going to go back to that quote that I did hear at my school where we were talking about Warren Buffett, and Warren Buffett was basically talking about how what separates successful people from really successful people. And Warren Buffett is just like, you know, some sort of billionaire investor, but this is what he said: "The difference between successful people and really successful people is that really successful people say no to almost everything." Now, what does that mean? That is basically the situation that Ansu Fati is in. Ansu Fati is saying no to everything. When the body is saying, "Hey, I can't really perform, I'm tired," Ansu Fati says, "No, we're going to perform." When there are people around Ansu saying, "Hey, Ansu, you should go to this club and not be at Barcelona. It's not looking really good for you," Ansu Fati, again, is saying no, and he wants to continue only at Barcelona. He is saying no to everything that is considered as a negative force to him. Like there are some players that we have seen at Barcelona where we saw some people say, "Hey, player, you should go to this X club or this Y club," for example, and that player is saying, "Yeah, you're right. I'm gonna just say yes to this option because I just don't think that I'll make it here at Barcelona." But with Ansu Fati, again, he's saying no. He's saying no to everything. When he does have that dark other side in his mind saying that you don't have the capability to do this, you're not the same like you used to, Ansu Fati is showing that he is saying no to that dark other side and saying that I will perform. And then moving on to Gavi, right? I just want to quickly recap Gavi's season, which is going to be combining what he did with Barcelona Barcelona and with Spain. So at the age of just 18 years old, he has played more than 60 matches for both his club and country in the past year from today. He has been claimed as the Golden Boy winner. He has won the Copa Trophy. He became the youngest scorer in the World Cup since Pelé. He has won a man of the match performance in the World Cup. He was involved in 3 goals in the Clásico final. He is a Spanish Super Cup winner. He is also a La Liga winner and also now officially a Nations League winner. So he has won many things, and just only at the age of 18 years old, Gavi is a true winner. And I think that with him winning a trophy with Spain, and especially against a tough opponent like Croatia, is going to give him max confidence, and he's going to believe that he is winning material. This is why I do say that I will never see Gavi as a bench player at Barcelona. His talent is just too high. And let me tell you this, he has won all of these achievements with him playing as a left winger, mostly coming in and out, playing wide and then sometimes playing in. That is something that he has been doing under Xavi's system. So we never really saw him as a full-time interior, which is his natural position. And so that is very impressive. And so with other players like Alejandro Balde, we could not really talk about him because Alejandro Balde was not in the Spanish national team for this game against Croatia because he is currently injured, and he will be injured until I believe the middle of July. Remember that he did get injured in the last 2 or 3 games of Barcelona season, which is very unfortunate because we wanted to see Alejandro Balde take part of this Nations League win. So we saw Jordi Alba, who is currently still a Barcelona player technically, right? He was one of the best players against Croatia. Props to him. I want to shout out Jordi Alba for creating 5 chances, which is the most a player has created on the field. And also with Sergio Busquets did not play in this game. I want to shout him out, but still, because he did take part of the group stages of the Nations League, I want to also shout out Sergio Busquets, the legend. And so now let's move on and let's talk about Pep Guardiola, because let me tell you guys, let me give you guys the overall headline of this whole thing. Pep Guardiola shut down all of the toxic people within Barcelona and the people who are not Barcelona fans. And let me paint you guys this narrative. The narrative that has been going on surrounding Barcelona has been this, that Xavi has failed FC Barcelona. Xavi is not a good coach. Xavi has failed because Barcelona were out of the Champions League group stages. Xavi has failed because Barcelona won so many games where it only ended up being 1-0. Xavi failed because Barcelona were out of the Copa del Rey very early. Xavi failed because Barcelona were knocked out of the Europa League against Manchester United in the second leg and they lost 2-1. Xavi failed this, Xavi failed that. That was the main narrative surrounding this club. But I have always said this on my channel. Yes, Barcelona have taken micro losses through the season, but it means nothing in the grand scheme of things, meaning it does not mean anything in the big picture. If you look at the whole season as a collective, you can just see that Barcelona have had a successful season. And the real Barcelona fans in this channel, you guys know exactly what I mean by this and where we're going with all of this. Barcelona won La Liga, and they won La Liga with a 10-point difference compared to Real Madrid, who were in second place, which is outrageous. Barcelona also won the Super Cup, and in that final, they won 3-1. And it was not just a 3-1 scoreline, but Barcelona played in a very beautiful way. And the reason why Barcelona were able to beat Real Madrid in such a great way, very similar to how City did against Real Madrid, it is because Barcelona had all of their players available and healthy. We had our best defense, our best midfield, and our best attack. So I would say that with Xavi's first full season, it was out of this world. He exceeded the expectations. And so with this context and with this narrative now being known to everybody here, now I want to introduce what Pep Guardiola did say about Xavi's time at Barcelona so far. And this is what he said, and I quote, "Give Xavi a little time. It took us 8 years to win the Champions League. I'm a European champion because a striker, which is Lukaku, missed a clear header from 3 yards away. Xavi knows it better than I do. When you win La Liga, you have been the best team. He played group stages with his defenders, his best defenders, injured, and now the defense is his team's strength." And this is just all facts. Like everything that Pep Guardiola said in this statement here is everything that we have been saying in the past 4 to 5 months. But the only difference now is that now we have a credible and reputable person backing this claim. And so I'm pretty sure that whatever Pep Guardiola is seeing in this current Barcelona squad, he's probably seen the exact same similarities he saw with City 3 to 4 years ago, which is a team that is currently being rebuilt. Now we may see some differences between the 2017 Man City and the current Barcelona squad that we're seeing today. Like for example, we could win the Champions League much earlier. It may not have to take 8 years, because I think that the current Barcelona squad that we have today is much more talented than the team that we saw from City back in 2017 and 2016. Like we're talking about a Barcelona squad that has 4 golden boys. And I remember The Athletic also posted this information about how Pep Guardiola saw Man City when he first came in. Like when Pep first arrived, one of the things that really did alarm him about that current Man City squad was that there was no winning culture, meaning that there was no collectiveness. And every time they lost something, everybody was very individual. No one wanted to talk to each other. And even when Man City won something, they were still very individual. No one talked to each other. They weren't celebrating together. There was no winning culture. And so when Pep Guardiola first came in there, he knew that that was the first thing he had to reinstill back into this City squad and into this club in general. And at Barcelona, we have already seen that. We know that there is great collectiveness within these players. So with Xavi, it took him about 6 months to reinstill the winning culture, right? You and me know this. We saw how Barcelona reacted as soon as Xavi came in. Their attitude just completely changed. With Pep Guardiola and City, it took them until like 2018 and the 2019 season for Man City to really show that they are a winning team and they have the winning culture. So in many people's eyes, Barcelona are a few steps ahead of the first Man City squad that we saw under Guardiola. Was it enough for Barcelona to win the treble? No, it wasn't. But I think that Barcelona are a few steps ahead, which is very exciting. And that is why I do say that I think that in the next season, if Barcelona continue with the exact same hunger and determination, right? We want to see Ansu scoring goals, Lewandowski scoring a lot of goals, Vitor scoring a lot of goals, Pedri, Gundogan, Gavi, Frankie de Jong controlling the midfield. And we have the exact same defense that we saw in the previous season, right? Only allowing 1 goal every 7 games. Then Barcelona can be real contenders. And so Pep continued to say this about Xavi Hernandez. Barcelona has a great coach who knows the club and how the project is going. He has won La Liga and hopefully he will be there for many years. When Xavi decides he has finished his stage, Busquets or someone else will come. Like me, for myself, my stage at Barcelona, it is done. Now, I have always said that it would be very interesting to see Sergio Busquets maybe be the next coach for Barcelona. I do see him becoming a coach after he does finish his time at Inter Miami, because usually when we have players that have been playing in the midfield for a very long time, like for example, Zidane, Guardiola, Xabi Alonso, Xavi himself, Mascherano, we usually see those players end up being great managers because they have always been the brains of their teams. So they know a lot tactically. And that is why I do say I'm very confident that maybe in the future we could see Sergio Busquets become a coach for Barcelona. Who knows? And so if Sergio Busquets plays for 3 years at Inter Miami, then rests for like about 2 years, and then comes back to either Barcelona B or coaches an American team for 2 years, by the time he does finish all of those years, combining all of that, right, it'll be a total of 7 years. And by that time, Sergio Busquets will be 40 to 41 years old. And by that time, also, Xavi Hernandez would have about 9 years coaching FC Barcelona. Maybe by that time, in about 9 years, in 2030, Arteta could also get into the debate. And going back to Pep Guardiola, right, like with him saying that his time at Barcelona is done and that he's never going to see himself as a coach or coaching Barcelona at all, I don't believe any of that. I think all of that is just like pure smoke, no fire. I think that the only reason why Pep Guardiola is saying that is because he wants to avoid speculation and avoid all of those talks surrounding Barcelona, because he truly does care about this club. And the last thing that he does want to see happen at Barcelona is his name floating around saying how Pep could replace Xavi Hernandez because things are not going well at Barcelona because Xavi's not doing well, or some things like that. That is why Pep Guardiola wants to shut down that narrative. And so if my math is correctly, assuming that Pep Guardiola finishes his time at City in 2025 and then takes a year off and returns in 2026 after the World Cup is over, and he takes on a national team because he has always said that he does want to take over a national team, hopefully USA, which is my own biased opinion, and then stays there for about 4 years and then finishes his time at the national team in 2030. That's almost in the exact same time we could see Xavi leave. And also going back to, like I've said a few minutes ago, maybe we could see Sergio Busquets get into the conversation. Maybe we can see Arteta get into the conversation. It's very much possible. But all of those debates and decisions are not going to be made until like a very long time, right? We should not even be thinking that far ahead. Let's enjoy about what we have today. I think that what Xavi is building with Barcelona is going to be great. And so let's work on the now. So that is going to be wrapping up today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.